Hey, Sparkles to me, or do you want to slide? It's me, Sparkles with us here. Coming to a video this video. This is the single video this week. And in this video, I am doing SAO characters as dragons, like the title suggests, and like I already stated in my last video, where I announced this video. And, well, I'm doing 6 characters, and they are in the order of Petal, Elizabeth, Alice, no, scratch out Osna, then Alice, then Klein, and then the final one being Agil, the guy who resells weapons to lower level people. So without further ado, let's roll intro. Let's get into this video and let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Okay, so this first one I'm going over today is something relatively interesting. It is that of a dragon known as the dual-blade-ended tail dragon, or in the most common name, dual-bladed dragon. The reason why they're called this is because they do have one tail, but it splits up into 2 ends. One end is a dark blade-like sorts, and the other one ends something like a more light bluish, turquoisey colored blade. These things, colors overall, have something that resembles more dark blue, and it's sometimes mistaken for a demon dragon, which trust me, big giant pains in the arse to kill because of their demon nature. These are actually mistaken for that because of their horns and their snout formation, when in reality they are actually the perfectly good match next to the domestic black dragons to kill a demon dragon. Other than that, they look somewhat like a domestic black dragon if we were just to make them a little bit more darker and change up their wings a little. Other than that, they look pretty similar to it. They are also known to be very fast and very strong dragons, although they are also known to take on dragons that are about as powerful as a domestic black dragon. So, yeah. They are somewhat small dragons, actually. They are known as a true dragon because 4 legs, well, technically 6 limbs, basically 4 legs and 2 wings. There are other true dragons that have like 4 wings and 2 and 4 legs. Basically, their 2 front wings are their first set, and then there's a middle pair behind them on the top of them. But these creatures are really, really small by dragon standards, only coming in around 60 feet long from snout to tail end. And funny enough, the black one is actually longer, with a wingspan around 50 feet per wing, so 100 feet in total. So these things are relatively small by dragon standards, but really, really powerful and really strong. They are also by far one of the fastest dragons I've ever seen. Like, for drakes that can reach speeds of at least 100 miles an hour, this thing can hit Mach 1 in 5 seconds. Mach 1 is like the speed of sound, for the record. So, pretty freaking fast. So, yeah. And let's just say, I've looked at these things, and the energy layouts were pretty complicated. I'm surprised my dad, who actually made these things, he's been the overseer for this world for a really long time. But not as long. He's not one who created the primal creatures. The primal creatures are the first of their kind. I will tell you how I met some of these creatures. They're also by far some of the more powerful ones. A little bit weaker than a domestic black dragon, but anyways, let's get to the next one. Anyways, this next one is a drake. Now, it might look like it has the body of a siege drake, but in reality, it's just a regular drake. This is the forging mace-tailed drake. Forging because they are known to be, well, near a forge at all times, or something that resembles a forge. Basically, and they do hoard stuff like fire. Basically, things that can conjure fire at will. Very powerful artifacts, too. I've seen some of these artifacts are like a, very rare ones, like a primal fire elemental and a pure fire elemental's core. Those are really, really hard to find. And really expensive, too. Like, I'm talking, they're worth a few $1 trillion. And, yes, I'm talking like USA money. That is freaking expensive, trust me. Only reason why I've been able to get my hands on a few is from finding their, how do you say, homes. I usually ransack a few things, but I mostly leave it behind. Leave most of the stuff behind. Other than that, they can reach speeds of at least 100 miles per hour. And the reason why they get their mace-tail name is because they're mace-tail. They don't have a breath weapon at all because they're a drake. But they are very strong. This is one of the 2 drakes I'm going over today for the record. So very strong and very fast. But they're not as fast as the other one. They're faster, but not nearly as strong. Physically, that is. Now, if you were to counter their abilities, yeah, they are about as strong, if not stronger, than the other one. Which is going to be the last one I'm talking about. But anyways, their weight is usually around, well, not everywhere, but they're mostly female. So it's quite rude to talk about it. But I could really, really not care because they're dragons. Then again, when they reach 1,000 years old, they do gain a human form. They usually, they are usually can reach around maybe 500 pounds in their dragon form. I forgot to mention the last one's age. The last one's age caps at around 1 million years. So, yeah, pretty freaking long life. And this one lives to be around, I want to say, 900,000 years. So, yeah, and the reason why I know this is because I get a lot of the information I need from my dad. And I used to get the information from the overseer every now and again, whenever I found new creatures. Anyways, I think I will tell you about the story of how I found out about my dad and something else. All this happened during Xmas and an Xmas battle. Not really pretty. But anyways, let's get to the next one. Now, the next one is a wyvern. The first of the 2 wyverns I'm going over today. And they're known as the Blitzen Lightning Flash Wyvern, or the Lightning Flash Wyvern for short. They have nearly white bodies, and they're known to fly at stupidly high speeds. And I'm talking at nearly Mach 2. So, really freaking fast. And due to the speed, they can cause, and due to their speed, like I stated, they can cause lightning to form around them, hence their lightning flash part. They're also able to generate electricity. They don't really have a breath weapon, but they can let off a small breath that is quite revolting. Not stench, but shocking. They can also, their blade isn't really a stinger, but if you get slashed by it, you have a chance of being paralyzed. And if they move it fast enough, it can literally create lightning coming off of it. And for the record, all these dragons do eventually shed their blades on their tails. They usually then are forged into weapons. Very, very strong weapons. And they are very hard to find because dragons usually keep them in their hoard. But if a dragon really trusts you, it will shed its blade and it will hunt you down and give it to you. So, yeah, if you gain a blade from a dragon, let's just say that it is very rare to get one. And people that wield these are pretty highly regarded and have very high standards too. So, yeah, and not to mention these things are stupidly strong and sturdy as well. They're some of the best blades in the world. Now, the best blades are gotta be made out of alloys of the different metals. Like a Damascus Black Dragon Spikes. No, that's a good blade. But, yeah, the thing can live for at least, if I remember correctly, around 500,000 years too. So they can live a pretty long time. And I've looked at some other dragons, and turns out these two are known, the dual blade dragon and the lightning flash wyvern, known to breed and create wyverns. They're known, I don't really have a name for the species yet. There's only a handful of the species, and they're really elusive and hard to find. But they're quite friendly and quite fast and strong like their parents. And trust me when I say, they are also known to adopt another species of dragon into their family. I'll talk about that one later. Now, from wingspan is around 20 feet. Well, technically, actually, it's closer to 70 feet. And funny enough, they're actually bigger than than a true dragon, with their head to tail end being around 15 feet, but their wingspan's a whole lot larger. Their wingspan is also a whole lot lighter, allowing them to create such high speeds. Now let's get to the next one. The fourth one I'm going over today is a really, really rare dragon, known as the Golden Petal Night Dragon, or the most common name, Golden Petal Dragon. They get this name because of their gold-like plating on their skin. Now, their skin isn't really gold. It's very valuable and it feels like gold. It's also very dense, but it's relatively light, weirdly enough, because when something's dense, it's usually really heavy. But their blade is what's really special about them. What gives them their name, the Golden Petal. It's very similar to a golem, to that petal golem I talked about. Trust me when I say that they are very similar in powers. My dad said he created it whenever he created these dragons at the same time, and he somehow, well, not really somehow, more or less just copied the energies from the crystal and put it into the blade of the dragons. And when I say it's a lot harder to get blades from these dragons than pretty much every other dragon, it takes a lot to gain their trust. But when you do, you got a really loyal friend. And when you usually do, they will usually want to soul bond with you. And it is quite common to find people that are married to a dragon. All dragons, when they reach 1,000 years old, they always gain a human form. And these can live to be around, if memory serves correctly, 950,000 years old. So, again, really long lives. All these dragons have really long lives. But they also have golden-like heads, and in their human form, they usually have something like resembling armor on. When in reality, they're actually able to take this armor off. It's pretty much like shedding scales. But trust me when I say it is a very interesting sight. Their wings are actually covered in these stud scales, along with their lower part of their upper body and the upper part of their neck. So it's very hard to decapitate these dragons unless you go from below. Even then, going upwards is really hard to kill them. Their front legs and back legs are blue, and their claws are the same color as their most of their body. They also have dark yellow wings, and when I say these wings are used to make airplanes, I mean it. They are quite literally used to make airplane wings because of their light and durability nature. So they are really useful, and like all dragons do, shed these wings. They're pretty much like scales, but they fall down all at once, and they're pretty much going to regrow in around a month. So some of these dragons can't fly for around a month, but that's only happens every now and again. So trust me when I say these dragons are really, really well guarded. So let's get to the next one. Now, this next dragon is a dragon that's the last wyvern I'm talking about today. They are known as the Armored Katana Flame Blade Wyvern, and they're found in Japan. And the most common name is Katana Flame Blade Wyvern. They have their head is red, and they have different multicolored bodies. Their most prominent color is, well, red. They have red horns, a full-on red eye. Their skin of their wings is red. And they have 2 patches on their skin, which is pretty much like armor, a little bit thicker scales, that are actually red. Now, they have some other gold, like brown colors, and some very dark and darkish light brown, but their blade tail is something that is actually on the shape of a katana. Now, these dragons' wingspan is actually smaller than the others. Its wingspan is only around, if I remember correctly, 50 feet. So it has a body length of actually around 80 feet. So, well, scratch that, 70 feet with a body length of around 60. And they are pretty fast as well due to their ability to produce fire. And they have a small breath weapon that allows them to shoot little fireballs that can pretty much damage a good chunk of rock. But trust me when I say it's a good power difference between their mouth and their flames on their tail. Using their tail, they are able to produce flames hot enough to melt straight through tungsten when cutting. And when I say that tungsten has a very high melting point, it has a freaking high melting point. Like, I'm talking, I couldn't produce a blade for a few good years that is hot enough or even sharp enough to even dent tungsten. And then again, I was using a tungsten titanium alloy that was bent over at least 15 times. And when I met one of these dragons, it cut through it like butter. Like hot knife to butter. It was fast and effective. So, and trust me when I say it did have an easy time cutting through it. Now for age, if I remember correctly, thing clocks in at around, dies at around 1,500 years? No, scratch that, if I remember correctly, 700,000 years. So, pretty long life. Now, they are really fast, but not as fast as a lightning flash dragon or any other dragon. But still, fast enough to hit around Mach 1.5 in around 10 seconds. So, if you want to travel fast, get yourself one of these dragons. But also don't want to burn up, because usually you need some special armor, or may have said dragon scales. Like I was saying, you need a armor made of said dragon scales to actually protect yourself correctly. Now let's get on to the next one. Well, for the last dragon I'm going over today, it is a hybrid of 2 different types of drake. A pit drake and a siege drake. Pit drakes are very big and aggressive drakes. Siege drakes are more lean drakes that are very strong armor made for sieging. They're also very strong. They are made for hauling something like cannons or other heavy weaponry to the battlefield. Now, what do you get when you combine both of them and give it a axe for a tail? You get this creature, the colossal armored axe-tailed pit siege drake, or colossal axe-tailed drake. These things are huge. When I say huge, I'm like, their legs alone, their entire body, they weigh around a ton. Not by dragon standards, that's pretty light, but by drake standards, from what I can find, it's pretty heavy. They're literally, from snout to tail, they're around 10 feet long, but their blades are razor sharp. Well, it's not 10 feet, closer to 20. They're pretty long creatures, but I keep forgetting. I'm mixing this up with a bunch of other creatures. these things are actually closer to around 10 feet, with most of that, with about 4 feet of that being the tail. Well, scratch that, closer to around, well anyways, they stand up to be around 5 feet tall, utterly massive for something its size. And the speed they can run at is around 150 miles per hour. So, yeah, any person that gets slashed by one of these things is pretty much a dead man. Their skin, for their primary scale color, is actually a very light brown color, but in some locations it's relatively darker, it's a little thicker. They have spines running down their, spine. They have spikes running down their spine, and which are black color. They're very thick scales, and their gray scales are actually somewhat thick as well. You can launch a 50 caliber bullet at this thing. It will just bounce right off the armor, making a small dent. Now you need dynamite or something to blow a hole in it. Very strong and very sturdy. But it's also known to charge energy into its tail and go for a slash attack. So, yeah, and that's something all these dragons can do. I went over today. They can all charge into their tails for a slash attack of some sorts. But they're all different forms, and they're all very dangerous. And this one is just dangerous because of its massive size, and speed, and strength. So, yeah, and that's all of them for today. Well, I'm afraid that's all the time I got for today's video. Until next time, subscribe today to join the Spy Ghost Army or Deal Must Alliance. Goodbye, and peace out, everyone.